Welcome to the Pulse of Spokane. Kent Adams here. And every so often we like to have folks come in and talk about what's going on in the housing market. And we always turn to the Spokane Association of REALTORS here in town. And the president, the board president, is Tom Clark. And we're going to be talking to him today about some of the most recent numbers. Is it true that hundreds and thousands of people want to move from Seattle to here? Is it true that prices are going out of the park here? Is it true that we have a real shortage of homes, both rental homes and homes to buy and so forth? And we'll cover all of those topics because whether we're getting ready to sell or buy, these things impact us and our kids and our neighbors. We'll talk about all that right after this.
Hi, I'm State Rep Jenny Graham. The pandemic has set us all back, which is why I'm working to get our schools and our economy running again, so we can all get back to school and work safely. We must restore our economy, and we must protect our interests from budget cuts caused by reckless Democrat spending.
Paid for by the committee to re-elect Jenny Graham, Republican.
Hi, I'm Rob Chase, and I'm running for Washington State 4th Legislative District in Spokane County. We need to get back to first principles of respect for providence, tradition, property, and transparency. I'll work in Olympia to make America great again. I believe I can be a good representative for the 4th District because truth matters. Vote for me, Rob Chase.
Paid for by the committee to elect Rob Chase, Republican.
Hi, I'm Dave Lucas. I'm running for state senator. Washington is headed in the wrong direction, and we need to change course. So let's send a message to Olympia that Spokane is done with Andy Billig and the Seattle Democrats. Vote Dave Lucas for state senate.
Paid for by Dave Lucas for state senator, Republican.
We are living in historic times. Our courts will be dealing with new and unprecedented issues. I am Judge Tracy Staub, and I'm running for judge at the Court of Appeals. Our state will need a judge with experience and proven leadership to handle these issues. I am the only candidate with experience as a prosecutor, defense attorney, and trial judge. It has never been more important to vote for a judge with experience and a passion for law and justice. I am Judge Tracy Staub, and I'm asking for your vote this November.
Well, welcome back. Tom Clark, you have been the volunteer president of the board for Spokane Association of REALTORS for what now, a year? And
For this year.
For this year?
This year, yeah. I was president-elect last year.
Why did you select this year?
Well, I'm guessing last year most of us didn't see this situation we're in today.
Yeah, you would have put yourself down the list a little bit.
Well, I maybe would have picked a different, raised my hand a little bit later in the game or something.
Yeah.
But it's been challenging. It's been
I
interesting.
was going to say, it takes someone like you with the fortitude to move ahead with all of the challenges. I mean, you've got good staff, you've got good board people and all of that. But for everybody to be on the same train moving forward during a time that people are blocking the rails a lot.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And we've all faced it.
Yeah, lots of challenges,
Yeah.
and we all faced it at the same time.
Yes.
When all of a sudden the governor said, "Oh, by the way, you're not going to work tomorrow." And so everybody was kind of in a, well, okay, so we know what tomorrow doesn't look like, but we don't know what tomorrow does look like.
Yeah.
And so what are we going to do about that?
That's well said. Yes.
I think one of the challenges that we faced as an association was to keep our members in tune and keep them aware and keep them keep the knowledge base up so that they understood what they could do, what they couldn't do, where they were restricted.
The communication's important, isn't it?
It was hugely important. It really was.
Do you have anybody good doing that at SAR?
The staff there. You mentioned the staff. MacArthur has just been unbelievable. Tom MacArthur.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, and Rob. Everybody. Rob Higgins.
Everybody has stepped up.
Everybody at the staff has. I mean, from the tech people that keep us in the Zoom meetings, because we've done Zoom meetings and Zoom conferences and Zoom this and Zoom that. We've Zoomed all over the place. We should have millions of miles by now, in our various Zoom machines.
Did you know how to operate Zoom before all of this?
I didn't even know I knew how to spell it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think I could spell it because I remember some commercials.
Vinny had talked to me about it, And then all of a sudden, like everybody else,
all of a sudden
we
we're all
learned it.
wishing we'd bought stock.
Yeah.
You know,
No kidding.
it's like, hello.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of the things we did in the association is we started, we wanted to communicate as clearly as we could
Yes.
with our members, and we wanted everybody to be on the same page because it was critical that the governor get along with us or we get along with him so that he
Yeah,
wouldn't.
because he could make your life miserable.
He started out making our life
Yes,
fairly
I know.
miserable for a few days, and when things loosened up, we gladly accepted that, but we didn't want to push the limits.
Yeah.
And so, as you know, there are people that would want to try to push the limits, and so our job was to keep everybody reined in and keep everybody the same direction and keep everybody on the same
Yeah,
path.
don't kill the goose.
Exactly.
You know.
So,
yeah.
so we did all kinds of things like, you know, from written communications and emails. We did a Friday President Zoom meeting for our membership.
Yes.
Where, like, the very first one that we had, we only opened the room up for 100 people because we'd never had that many show up for a meeting before. and of course, we had all kinds of folks going, how come I couldn't get in? How come I couldn't? And so we
Nice
said,
problem to have, though.
The good news is,
Yeah.
you know, it was recorded, so here it is. You
Yeah.
can see
Yeah.
everything we talked about.
Yeah.
But then we had Steve Scranton with Washington Trust.
Yes.
We had
Good.
the head of the Employment Security Department over in Olympia. We had the president of the National Association of Realtors, the Washington
Yes.
Association of Realtors president. We had a presidential Zoom meeting. We had several. We did 9 Zoom meetings in 9 weeks. We might have done 10. I can't
Wow.
remember. Every Friday we had a Zoom roundtable, we called it. And then, and so we've done other videos and other communication with the members to keep them in the loop, and I think it's been very, very good for the association and for the members.
Yeah,
You know,
good.
everybody's been on the same page. Everybody's moving in the same direction. Yeah, I think our camaraderie is substantially higher than possibly it once was.
Yeah, because you're all facing the exact same
Right.
problem.
We're not.
Or before, and maybe as we go back, everyone will have maybe some of the same problems, but
Right.
different issues.
Exactly.
It's pure survival.
Yeah.
I've heard things like right now, the interest from the Seattle area the last month or two has been up 1,500% or something on housing availability over here.
Yeah.
Is that close to true?
Oh,
Is-
I've heard the same thing. Now,
Okay.
I can't say whether it's a fact. I mean,
Yeah.
what news source do we?
Because
do
we
go
found
to
it
for
on
facts today?
Facebook, right?
Who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah. But the truth is, those coastal cities have their prices have gotten out of control.
Yeah.
You know, so the affordability issue
Right.
bodes very well for Spokane.
And a lot of the big companies say you can live wherever you want.
COVID has taught us that we can
Yeah.
telecommute quite a bit. We can work from home. We can go to the office periodically. And some I know people that haven't been to their office for 6 months.
Right, right.
You know,
No.
now I happen to work best at the office, and the good news is no one else does.
Yeah.
So I'm okay at
Well,
the
they
office.
know you're there.
Mostly by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, with very little interference and lots of
And you can
social
get stuff-
distancing.
yes.
And I get my work done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that just works well for me. Other people can do very well from their homes.
Right.
I'm
But
thinking,
but we are seeing a lot of interest from Portland,
A lot of
Seattle,
outside
and
interest.
yeah,
A
and
lot of
what
outside
I would call
interest.
more expensive markets.
Right.
That they can be near nature and all the other things, and
Well,
for their kids.
a
and-
lot better lifestyle.
Yes.
A lot more relaxed lifestyle. And we're fortunate that Spokane, being a small big city,
Yes.
big small city, take your
Right.
pick.
Yeah.
We have the amenities
Yes.
that most of the larger cities have, maybe just not to the same degree.
Yeah, well, they're not doing
So
any
what?
more symphonies over in Seattle as
Than they are here.
we are here, right?
That's
Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah,
So
that's exactly right.
yeah.
So, you know, so part of it's the telecommuting thing, and the other thing is we're pretty good at social distancing here.
yeah, yeah,
We have more rural
yes.
mindset, more rural
Right.
geography, you know, and I think that bodes fairly well for where the masses want to be.
One of the things that speaks very loud to the community, it certainly does to the professionals, meaning realtors and so forth, is where is our inventory today? Now, from my memory, at my age, in the last few years, we've always hoped it to be at least 3, if not 4 months on average. Is that close?
That's pretty accurate. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I talk to people that a lot of people tell me that a balanced market is considering 6 months of inventory. Is considered to be 6 months of inventory.
I don't think we've
I've
seen
always-
that for a while, have
not
we?
for a long time.
No.
And I've always, as a listing agent, I never wanted a six months to sell a property.
Yeah.
You know, I always like the 3 to 4 month.
Right,
Like
right.
you said, amount of inventory. And unfortunately, the numbers are, back in September, we closed 778 houses.
Okay.
And October 1st, we had 478 on the market.
Whoa.
So
you
we had-
closed more in September,
than we had
almost
available
twice
for-
what you have available
Yeah.
now.
So we're down to probably in the neighborhood of 3 weeks supply of inventory if everything were to sell.
Okay,
Right.
I know the answer, but I want you to say it. What does that mean to the price right now?
Oh, it's killing the price. It's making every home so desirable to the buyers because
Yeah.
it's a supply and demand game.
Yeah.
There's a great deal of demand
Yeah.
and a shortage of supply.
Yeah.
As a result of that, the prices get bid up.
Yep.
And the idea of affordable housing, which we as realtors have you decided to go to the term attainable housing because
Right.
affordable creates a whole bunch of legal issues.
Yeah,
You know, with that definition comes
Nothing is affordable
comes
anymore,
some
right?
baggage,
Yeah.
right? But attainable housing is making it affordable and available.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have issues with both of those.
Okay. Wow. Well, then we must have plenty of rentals available that people can move into, right?
Well, one would think so. They're building them like crazy.
Yeah.
They are.
All right.
Every time I drive up a street that I haven't been up for 3 or 4 weeks or
Okay.
a month or two,
So
I
we
see
are
another
seeing
apartment
we
building
are seeing
coming
the
in.
building happening right now.
We are for rentals.
Okay.
Unfortunately, some of those should be condos if our condo liability laws would allow builders to build condos.
Explain that, because that really gets in the way for a builder. And
Yeah.
so it's easier to go to the rental market to build because less intrusive government.
Overreaching
Yeah.
oh, I shouldn't say overreach.
Well, no, I think
that was
that's-
the first word that came to my mind. So
No,
I'll
but
back
it
up.
is, Tom. It really is.
Yeah, but
because
it's-
you know who it's affecting? Those who are starting to get into the market.
Well, it affects 2 rungs of the ladder.
Yeah.
The ones moving out of the apartment building that would like to get into a home someday
Right.
don't have a condo that they can branch into, that they can move up the ladder 1 rung instead of 2.
Right.
Those that are retired and want to scale back.
Yep.
And sell that 1,800 square foot rancher and on a big lot, and they don't want to maintain the lot, they don't want to
Right.
maintain the house, they'd rather
Why are you
find-
looking right at me when you say that?
and they don't have, and there's no condos available.
Yeah.
So we're building apartments, but we're not building rental units,
Mm.
which is sad. And so the legislature still has some work to do on
Yeah.
the condominium, the liability
Do
laws.
you think they'll start to listen to reality
Well-
and how?
I would like to think if
You know,
enough of us parrot,
Yeah.
carry the word, then our legislators will have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really,
we speak with our vote.
You know, we talk about all these groups and lobbying and unions and lobbying and everything else, but what the realtors do for us is really help protect us in areas like that can move us and explain, okay, you might have the righteous reasons to put these things on, but do you realize that you're eliminating 8% of the marketplace or whatever it is? These people
Right.
can't get in, so now they're stuck with rentals.
Sure.
Renting and so forth.
Yeah.
And
The
so
unintended consequences aren't always obvious, and so someone has to tell them.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
do that. I mean,
We try.
because most people will say, well, they're just protecting themselves. No,
Right.
you're protecting the home buyer and the home seller out there.
Sure.
And-
Well,
and that's where the marketplace is.
and private property rights.
Yeah.
People's private property rights. When
Yeah.
the government starts telling us that we can't raise rents or we can't
Yeah.
evict a tenant that's not a good tenant, it's one thing to have a single-family home where your tenant can't afford rent.
Right.
Because of the COVID. It's another thing when you've got a multi-unit apartment building and somebody's dealing drugs and you can't evict them.
Oh, gee.
Or you've got to jump through some certain hoops to
Right,
evict them
right.
because there's safety issues to the other residents there.
Right.
And so we
And
need
how
we
many-
need government to reach it
Be
responsibly
reasonable.
rather than overreach
Yes.
irresponsibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Do you see that 3-week inventory getting better?
Not right away.
Okay,
No, I don't.
okay.
Honestly, don't.
Okay.
We have issues with the growth management boundaries, that we don't have a whole lot of land that we can continue to develop.
Okay,
And
talk
so-
about that, because I'm not sure everyone understands the growth management.
Well, years ago, the Growth Management Act came into play.
Right.
And that basically drew a line around a city that said you can develop lots within this area.
Okay.
That's the growth management boundary.
Okay.
Outside of that area, everything has to be acreage properties. And so this has been in play for 10, 12 years. It's been in existence for a long time.
Right.
and it's not supposed to be looked at again until 2025.
Oh, gee.
So, we've had a housing crisis for several years now.
Yes, and it's not going to get better.
And it's not going to get better. And, I don't like to be mean about it, but the truth is our elected officials have been failing us by not dealing with this issue.
Yeah.
They should have been pushing this over at the state, or pushing at the Department of Ecology, pushing wherever they needed to
Yes.
to start getting some more lots, some more availability of lots. That's part of the equation.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is builders, need to be able to buy the supplies reasonably.
Right.
They need to build a home at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
So we've seen, I was just talking to a builder yesterday, and he said, that the laws that are, the codes, the new codes that are coming into play in the next few months are going to cause the cost of a home to go up over $20,000.
Over $20,000.
Over
Okay,
$20,000.
over what's happened to them in the last 6 months.
Well,
Okay, because
Right, but
I was
that's
mentioning to you before we started,
cost
we
of
had
materials.
we had a builder sitting right where next to where you are right now, that a month ago or so said something to the effect, Kent, I'm stuck with the contracts I have for lumber and so forth, and I'm now paying $15,000 more a unit than
Per house,
per
yeah.
house, yeah,
Right.
than I was when I
bid the
signed
job.
bid the job with the homeowner.
Sure.
And guess who pays that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Contractors are going to go out of business.
Well, they will if they, yeah.
If that continues.
It'll only happen to them once, I'll bet.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
not going to let that happen again.
No.
And so they're going to have some sort of an escape clause that
Yep.
allows them to adjust for the cost of materials.
Yep.
Or their building costs.
Right, right.
And like I say, some of these codes, which I'm not a builder and I don't know all the codes, but
right.
I do know that, like the electrical code, for example, with an arc fault breaker versus the breakers that you and I have in our home
Yeah.
today, that's the difference between about a $7 breaker and a $100 breaker. And if
Okay.
you have to fill your electrical panel with $100 breakers instead of $7 breakers,
Yeah.
it's going to change the cost of your house.
Yes,
You
it
know,
is.
It's going to make a difference.
And that's just the beginning.
That's just one little thing.
Yeah.
And I believe
Yeah,
it was
little thing, but
Well, I think it was Jim Frank that did a study, and he determined that if a price of a home goes up $1,000, you price over 200 people out of the market.
wow.
200 people in Spokane can no longer afford that house if it just goes up $1,000.
Wow.
And I just told you about one thing that'll change it
Yeah.
by at least $1,000.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, they require some energy codes that we have to have electric instead of gas appliances.
Really?
Those are coming around. There's lots of things on the horizon that are not going to be very favorable.
How
to
do
the
we
cost
as
of a home.
citizens follow all this? Okay, because SAR and others and contractors, yeah, that's your business and you've got to be there. But how do the rest of us keep apprised of what's going on? Because it eventually affects us.
Well,
Okay. When you were talking
it'll affect
about
every one of us,
the older
absolutely.
folks selling and moving into a condo, and now they
Sure.
can't rent. Okay, that's going to happen to
Right.
my wife and I in the next few years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the answer that I've told my clients for years is you don't want to sell that house.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you more to buy a little house
Yeah, yeah.
than it would be for you to stay where you are and hire a yard guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hire a yard guy and have a kid come over and paint the eaves every now and then. Do the stuff
that
you-
doesn't help with my going up and down the stairs if I need
No,
to do that.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. But if
But-
you have that big rancher with the basement, you can just quit using the basement.
Okay.
It'll
Yeah.
cost you less to bring your laundry up to put your laundry facilities.
Laundry is now on the second floor. It has been for about 8 or 10 years.
There you go.
That really does help.
And it'll be a lot.
But
less
bedrooms are
expensive in the long
upstairs
run.
and living is downstairs.
It's tougher.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah,
It is.
They're-
Wow.
They're building more and more ranch-style homes without basements.
Yes.
For us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and I both fit in that category.
I'm way before you, bud.
Right.
What else do we need to know with what's going on? There's so much going on.
Well, I think your question was, how do we know? We just have to keep our eyes on the prize,
Yeah.
and keep our finger on the pulse, because some of these things, when you find out that the cost of building is over $200 a square foot now versus what it used to be,
Okay.
and that's just your mid-level type stuff. That's not granite and tile and hardwoods and things like that. That's just the middle of the road type materials.
Yeah.
So when you find out those kind of things, we as purchasers, we as potential customers ought to be paying attention to what kind of things are driving those prices up.
And speaking to our elected folks.
And going down to the city council meetings
Yes.
and going to the building planning meetings and things like that, so that we can see what they're talking about with codes and the unintended consequences of
Right,
some of these
right.
codes. Because the truth is, none of these building codes are being passed just so they can raise the price.
No.
There's an underlying reason. There's a
And I
health
understand
and
some
a
of-
safety
some of
and
that
an
reason and so
ecological
forth.
and things like that.
Yeah.
Right. But sometimes those benefits don't outweigh the costs.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's really critical.
Wow.
It's tough. It's
Wow.
a tough world we live in. There's an awful lot of moving parts going on right
Oh,
now.
no kidding. And a friend of mine said, well, I quit saying we can't get any crazier.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
he's
They're
always,
taking it as
he's
a
always,
challenge.
yeah.
They're taking it as a challenge instead of a comment.
So on December 31st, you get to put your hat on the shelf?
I get to be
Past-
immediate past president.
Immediate past president.
On
So it
January
doesn't-
1.
It doesn't go away, does it?
No, but it should slow down a little bit.
Yeah. I've got to ask this question because all of us have been involved in trade things and in our community, and you're a good example of that. What motivated you to step up and take leadership, not just as president, but on the board and things like that?
Oh, I suppose it's just something within me that I'd rather be pushing than be pushed.
Okay.
Right. I've always felt that you don't have the right to complain if you didn't vote. You don't have the right to complain if you didn't participate.
Yep.
You don't have the right to, and so if you want to be part of the, problem or you want to be part of the decision.
Right.
And,
Good, yeah.
And I remember going down to the airport many years ago. I was in the airline business, and one of our pilots walked past me and he said, "Hey, who made the decision to do what and what?" And I said, "What do you want to know? Who made the decision or why? Because if you want to know who, just blame it on me. I don't care."
Yeah.
But I'd be happy to tell you why the decision was
Okay,
made,
yeah.
and give you some information that maybe you didn't have.
Right.
So I've never had a problem with being the decision maker as long as I can communicate the why.
Yeah, good.
Because that's a big part of it. We
you
all,
absolutely
as
do.
individuals,
Yeah.
deserve to know why we're being pushed this direction or why things are going this way. And who made the decision is only part of the equation,
Yeah.
is why did they make the decision.
Right.
And truthfully, sometimes today, that decision doesn't look like a very wise decision from back then.
Well, yes.
Knowing what we know now.
Exactly.
You know,
Hindsight's always 20/20, isn't it?
That's right. And we can all go, yep, that was me.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Yeah, well,
Let me
I
tell you why
hope no one brings up a list on me
Yeah,
because
well,
we've
and-
all made mistakes.
And let me tell you why I made that decision,
Yeah.
because based on the information at the time, it looked like a pretty wise decision.
Exactly.
And not so wise anymore.
Right,
But
right.
that's okay. We're all big boys and girls, and
Yeah.
let's face it, none of us have made a mistake.
Well, I want to say thank you for stepping up for SAR and for our community and for helping take a leadership role, because I know it takes time away from business, from family and everything else, especially when you're president and soon to be immediate past president.
What time is it?
Yeah. Who's keeping track, right?
Yeah. No,
Tom,
it's been a good challenge.
thank you
It's
very
been
much
enjoyable.
for what you do and for the information you've provided our audience today. I think that's really helpful.
My pleasure.
So that they get to hear that.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
the opportunity.
All right. Thanks for watching The Pulse of Spokane, everybody. Have a good day.
Rather than just going out for dinner or scrounging up something from the cabinets, join us for this special family cooking class and bring the family together through the creation of a delectable meal. From the kitchen of Hutton Settlement, you'll be joined by a local favorite, Chef Travis Dickinson, owner of Cochinito Taqueria, community favorite Mark Patrick, and several young members of the Hutton family. From learning knife cuts and special kitchen techniques, the hands-on instruction will have you perfecting your dinners and creating priceless memories. Prior to the event, participants who RSVP will be sent the full menu, digital recipe, and access to the live-streamed virtual cooking class. You'll be able to follow along as the chef's team cooks, reference the recording after, virtually ask questions in the chat, and create a fun, delicious meal from the comfort of your kitchen. Participation is free, but donations are appreciated.
Thanks for watching. Ask the host a question, recommend a guest, or check out any of our other programs on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Well Dressed Walrus, and Homes for You.